Access to the Central Maze should only be attempted in someone else's vehicle. The road is terrible. On a 1 to 10 scale, it is a solid 10. The Park Service has done an excellent job in reducing high-impact visitation, leaving only the hardened desert rats or friends of rats to enjoy such pristine solitude and beauty.
So writes Rob Hart on the Wilderness Medicine magazine website. It was this challenge that prompted a few friends and I to spend some time in this amazing region. Arriving from Florida, Oregon, Arizona, and Oklahoma, we planned to spend 8 days in this area that is considered by many to be the most remote wilderness in the lower 48 states. However, not everything in overlanding goes as planned. Weather, gear problems, illness, and mechanical failure would conspire to make this trip one of the most challenging any of us had ever ventured out on. This video series is as much about the romance of overlanding as it is about how we met each challenge as was laid out before us.
Yeah.
We entered the Maze District at Hanksville Ranger Station. There, we checked the road conditions, met with Ranger Will, who instructed us on the backcountry procedures, and secured the necessary permits.
People in a group, we don't want our campsites to have big, huge groups of people. So what we need from you all is to honor that part of our management strategy. 2 or 3 permits are actually just one big group, and those people end up all staying on site.
We've got assignments, so we've talked about it.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
So, with permits in hand and dedicated to follow the precepts of tread lightly and leave no trace, we headed out for 8 days in one of the most remote locations in the continental U.S. Culminating in campsites in the Central Maze on the last few nights, this would be an arduous adventure for all of us. We felt fully prepared for whatever lay ahead, but little did we know how much we'd be tested.
Well, we've gotten checked in at Hanksville Ranger Station, and for the next few days we're going to be divided into 2 groups. Matt is one of the crew leaders, and I'm the other crew leader. But they said it was okay if we wanted to meet up for lunch someplace, just as long as we didn't have more than 3 vehicles traveling together. I saw it was Alaska, is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Just left of the road there is Cleopatra's chair, and that is where we're headed to spend tonight.
The other crew, consisting of Matt, Adam, and Mason, was ahead of us. They were scheduled to camp at Panorama Point tonight. While we planned to meet them at the divide in the road to each campsite, we briefly caught up with them about a half-mile before. At the split, each crew headed toward their respective campsites, Cleopatra's Chair and Panorama Point. Jeeps have a lot more latitude and stuff like this.
Sometimes I get a half-second steady video. Yeah, we're right next to it. Right down the base here. There they are. Mac and Adam and Mason are headed out towards Panorama Point, while the rest of us are going to go head out to Cleopatra's Chair for the night.
Well, here we are, rolling into our first campsite.
It didn't take long for us to realize that this campsite was a challenge. The ground was slick rock with a thin layer of dirt, unsuitable for driving tent pegs. When the wind was blowing, sometimes very hard, with Tad and Chuck's help and a lot of rocks, Ray and I got our backpacking tent raised. And later that night, during a lull in the windstorm, they were able to raise their rooftop tent. However, the winds would only become much worse.
Yeah, I'm afraid the tent's going to be ripped up.
So that must be why everybody's eating lunch in their vehicles, huh?
I guess so. Jeez.
Actually, this is dinner, isn't it? And
Yep.
what else have I got here? You know, if you gotta be on a windy day, you can have a good craft beer.
Holy moly.
Rocking a Jeep there.
There was a roller.
Meanwhile, over at Panorama Point, while it was somewhat windy, Matt, Adam, and Mason would have no problems erecting their tents and enjoying a peaceful camp evening with a magnificent view of this amazing park. It had been a great day overlanding, and the conversations that evening were often about the sublime beauty that surrounded us. However, for Ray and I at Cleopatra's Chair, we'd spend the nights between sleeping in vehicles and toughing it out in our tent as the poles beat on us from the unrelenting winds.